Hi there, and welcome to Chasing the Twist. Today we're in Portland, Maine, and I thought I'd do a overview and update on the adventure van. So come along. So the main construction of the van hasn't changed since the first iteration really, and it's basically two bench style seats on the right and a center section with all made out of plywood. This center section holds 6 of those large Rubbermaid bins, and I made this chuck box to be the same size as that Rubbermaid bin. So it has space for 6 of those, and on this short trip we only have 5, but we often use all 6 spaces for that. On top we have our full-size mattress that we got from foamfactory.com. It'll fit a queen, but I like having the little side areas on the side of the mattress for putting my glasses or my phone or whatever while we sleep. Let me show you the chuck box. So I made this out of 1/2-inch plywood, and it houses our frying pan, our pots, our cups, our oils and other cooking needs, and our cutlery, and a spice rack. This platform, which is a little bit out of frame, here let me see. There you go. This platform can hold 2 individual Coleman burners, which are stored over here on the driver's side. So we can cook right out of the van, which I did today for lunch. And we can also bring the chuck box over to a picnic table and cook lunch there. Now for the main level. We have our full-size mattress. We have extra pillows. We have the girls' mattresses in their stowed position on the passenger side. We have my guitar hanging on the driver's side. A little nightstand for me, and there's another one that right now fell off the window. But that's the main level of the van. One of the biggest differences since last year is the addition of a solar panel. So while I'm back here, that solar panel is a 100 watt. That's a 100 watt flexible solar panel, and I made my own cable. And I know it's a little bit janky, but I just run it in through the window seal. There's been no water ingress so far, and that allows me to not drill a hole in the roof or in the wall of the van. So here we are on the side door. All the way on the driver's side we have the Reliance porta potty hassock, and we have the Coleman 5-gallon water jug. I have those strapped in, and also the hassock potty is screwed in to that piece of plywood, and then the plywood is cut in around, for example, cut in around the seat bracket here so that it doesn't slide around. We have our propane heater, which we've really only used, I think, twice. We have a carbon monoxide detector under there, or back behind the water jug, just in case. We have this 12-volt fan, and that's all to say, and that's all powered by, rather, the Gold Zero Yeti 400, which resides under the passenger bench. One last thing to show you is the fridge. It's a ARB 50 liter fridge, and we have it stored in between the front two seats, acting as a center console. That thing is fantastic. It fits a lot of food, and now that I've figured out how to hook it up to the 12 volt socket on the Goal Zero, it doesn't draw a lot of power, which is fantastic. So the Goal Zero Yeti 400 that we have powers only three things. It powers the fridge, it powers the fairy lights, which are an absolute essential, and it powers the 12 volt fan, which is also an essential thing. And with my relay, which I'll link in the description, my relay setup allows us to charge the Yeti from the van alternator when it's running, from the solar panel always when there's light out, and from a shore power plug which I wired up when I first got the van, when we're at home or when we're at a campground and we want to plug in. Yes, the great thing about the solar panel is that we can now go comfortably for days, 3 days at least, without needing to run the van or plug in. Whereas before, without the solar panel, and especially before I figured out how to power the fridge from the 12 volt, I was previously powering it from the AC inverter, we could barely go a day and a half maybe, without needing to run the van or plug in. So this gives us a lot more flexibility, and we now hardly ever stay at campgrounds because we don't need to plug in, and so we can just go to places like where we are now, which is the wonderful playground outside of Portland, Maine, and we can just camp out. Not literally because they don't let you park here overnight, but we don't have to worry about running out of juice in our fridge, basically, so that our food doesn't spoil. Another change, which if I can get some B-roll before it gets too dark, I'll roll that in now, but either way, I'll explain it. So you noticed that the girls' mattresses, there's also a piece of plywood. We've changed the bed layout from before. Previously we hung the girls' mattress east-west over this bench seat. We took out the car seat and then hung the mattress east-west. But our little one, our 5-year-old, hasn't been sleeping up there for a while, and she now just crowds our bed in the back. So I rigged up a new system using Unistrut. That's this stuff. Using Unistrut and these soft tie straps that I had from needing to tie down a motorcycle and stuff. So there's 4 tie straps. There's one here in the middle of this door. There's one on the driver's side seatbelt anchor, and there's one on each of the front handles. What that allows me to do is I hang a Unistrut from the middle of the door to the driver's side seatbelt anchor, and a Unistrut from the 2 front handles, and then I can use that plywood to position the bed essentially over the passenger seat. So I lean this passenger seat all the way back, which it doesn't go back very far. That's actually a bit of a complaint or a shortcoming of this older style van, but then the bed is then running north-south on the passenger side, and we have a thinner mattress. Basically, it's a mattress topper that goes on top of the bench seat where the little one sleeps. So the little one sleeps on the bench seat on top of a mattress topper, and the older one, she's 9, she sleeps on the hanging mattress over the passenger seat. Tonight will be the first real in the wild use of that system, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it works out. So that's the quick tour and update on the van. Not a lot has changed in the 2 years that we've had it. Some small refinements on sort of where we store stuff, where we put laundry, the screwing the hassock potty down to the piece of plywood. Everything's just gotten a little bit more refined and better since we first started. But if I had to do it again in this van, I probably wouldn't make a whole lot of changes. Mostly due to the limitations of this van, which are mostly in the vertical height of the interior cabin. Because it's only about 4 feet tall inside, I wanted to take up as little vertical space as possible with the bed platform and everything. So once we get a taller van, in a few years maybe, I'll be able to take up more space, have a thicker platform which will allow it to be wider, and maybe I'll have it in sections, which is pretty popular these days, easier to take out. Anyway, thanks for coming along, and let me know if you have any questions or comments. Please leave a like, and take care.